we are back in the building. As you guys can see, we have a special guest joining us today. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? This has to come out on Love and Marriage Huntsville Day. It's only right. It's only right. We have Destiny in the building.
Thank you for having me in the building.
No, I'm excited. I am excited. Thank you for taking some time out of your schedule because I know you got a lot going on. And we got a lot to talk about.
Okay.
I, I want to start off just by asking initially, what were you doing before Love and Marriage Huntsville? Like and then what kind of drew you to the show?
Everything but stripping. I was doing. No, kidding. I had every job under the sun. So before Love and Marriage Huntsville, I've always been in real estate. I started out in leasing, property management, then I got my real estate license in Atlanta, in Georgia, and I did that for a long time. And then a market crash. I became a flight attendant for about 4.5 years, and then I went back into the corporate world and sales. So yeah, I've done a lot.
So you, like a lot of us, have lived a couple of different lives as well.
Absolutely. And then I went full fledged into performing arts. I moved to Los Angeles and I was in school and I was auditioning and I was acting and I was singing. So that was the last thing I did before I stepped back into the corporate world.
How did you enjoy Los Angeles? Because I went out there to pursue similar interests,
Uh-huh.
and after 3 years, I ended up getting a job in Miami. But I was running out of LA. I was like, get me out of here.
Listen, I always say LA's weird. It's very weird. That's just the best definition of it. But
Yes.
it also gives you a different type of hustle. Like I was hitting the ground hard every day. Um, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's really a dog eat dog world. So yeah, that's what I would say. But I had a little grooming in Atlanta before I moved there, so it wasn't too bad.
Um, and you say you went out there for performing arts. And is it more on the acting side that you wanted, or more on the performing, like singing side?
So I went to the American Musical Dramatic Academy, and I went there to sing, and
Okay.
it was musical theater singing, which is not the type of singing that I do. So we had to do a monologue and a song, and they were like, "We we really like your acting. Like you're really good at this. So we're gonna put you into both programs." And
Okay.
so I ended up I was in a band when I was out there, so I performed a lot live, but I ended up auditioning and doing more set work than anything.
Okay. So how did we get to Huntsville?
My dad, actually, we're from Detroit, but if you're in the automotive industry, move around. So Chrysler transferred him here, and when he got custody of me out of the system because he had to fight for me and all that other stuff, I moved with him.
Okay. Okay. Do you like living in Huntsville?
This coffee is good. No, to be honest with you, when I was here in high school, it was fun. Like it was
Okay.
fun. Even though I
Okay.
was trying to run back to Detroit and I was going back every summer, it was fun. I guess it's just the type of people that I grew up with. They were just we just had a good time. And but I feel like Huntsville is a place, which is why I came back initially to be married and to build a family and business. It's not for the single ladies, not really.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Where would you prefer to be if you could be any place, just in general?
London,
Really?
I love London.
Okay. Okay.
Or an island, or I take that back, an island because I love the water. But I like London. I like the shopping. I like the people. I like the ambiance. But I was introduced to London in Mayfair. What is it? Is it Mayfair? Whatever it is, Mayfair. Mayfair. Yeah. So that's the bougie side. So you gotta have a lot of money to be over there. But I had
Okay.
a great time whenever I go to London and I'm in that area. But I would say London or I have family that are in islands in Trinidad. So an island some
Okay.
birds,
Okay.
and a fine man on the beach. My baby. My baby picking mangoes out of the tree. I don't know. Yeah, I'm open. I'm a nomad though. Like my aunt calls me her gypsy baby because I will pick up and bounce and move in a minute.
So you had your upbringing sort of in Huntsville. Is that how you and Martell became acquainted?
So I started out in Detroit, then I came to Huntsville, and that's how I met Martell. I met Martell in ninth or 10th grade. And actually, my cousin married his cousin, and our goddaughter, we share the same goddaughter. And my dad used to date his mom. Well, how else are we connected? And just just being popular people in high school, we knew
I
each
don't
other.
think that was made clear on the show.
We talked about it, but it didn't make it.
I'm like, oh, what?
Yes, yes.
How'd that work out?
I love Martell's mom, and that moment when we had that scene, and I promise it wasn't even about her. I was having mother-in-law PTSD from my situation, but I love Miss Marlene.
Okay,
She's
okay.
super cool.
That is so fast. Like, we learning something new already, and we only 5 minutes in. Okay, so I guess my question is then, how did you get involved with the show initially? We saw your introduction, obviously, but how did that process come about with you getting on the show?
So I try to explain it. It's really simple. My ex-husband and I would go to events to support the hosts. And even before that, like when they had parties or things that we would go and support. And when the show started really moving, um, I remember we were in Birmingham. It was the launch of Martell and Melody were on the cover of a magazine. And we went there to celebrate the launch of that magazine. And I think we may have been at one or two other events, but this time I had one of the producers walk up to me and was like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Destiny." And they were like, "Well, why don't we see you around? We need to see you around." Then my ex husband walked up and then he put two and two together, like, "Oh, okay, wait a minute, they're together." He's like, "Wait a minute, why y'all not?" And we were like, "I don't know." And so I had walked out to go get my purse, and when I came back in, my ex husband was talking to Melody and Martell, and as soon as I walked up and gave Melody a hug, like the cameras really just surrounded us, and they put the mic underneath, and I'm like, "Well, guess we're in this scene. I guess it's happening." Okay, yeah. So it really kind of organically happened, and we went to dinner that night after that, and one of the producers were there. I didn't know that person was a producer. I was just there being Destiny, and it was almost like a audition, and I didn't know I was being auditioned, kind of. Yeah. So that's how it happened,
Mm.
and it was like, "Come around more, come around more. We want to see more of you."
And I know we won't spend too much time on your ex, but I do have some specific questions that maybe you can answer and maybe you can't. Do you think, or did you get a general sense that he enjoyed or did not enjoy filming?
I think when it got to a point where he had no control over what was being thrown at him, it was unenjoyable. But initially, he was a proponent for let's do it. Because real talk, like I was a thespian or thought I was, I'm like, I went to acting school. I'm not doing no reality show. So I was like, nah, I'm cool on this. And I mean, if it happens, whatever. But if it doesn't, cool. But it was initially more of his thing, like let's do it. You know.
Looking back on your entrance onto the show, is there anything that you would do differently?
No. No, seriously. I wish that we didn't have to talk about the same stuff over and over again, but I don't think I would have done anything different because I think it came across wrong. Maybe I would have delivered it differently.
And we're talking
So,
about
but
the
I
whole
don't have any
chicken
regrets.
conversation with you and Kimmy.
Yes. I'm a protective person. So if I rock with you and somebody says something about you, and I'm gonna be that person to be like, wait a minute, I don't felt that. Like, let me say, we're gonna set a boundary on this. Yeah. But that's really all it was. It wasn't really that heavy, it wasn't really that serious, but it was just like, hey, you're not gonna be talking about my then baby. My baby now. You ain't gonna be talking
Right,
about my baby.
right.
But that was really it. It wasn't really that heavy. But I say my delivery would have been my continuous delivery of it would have been different.
Okay.
And I
So,
wouldn't have been in the comments because that's what fed it.
oh, you was in the comments.
Oh, I was in the comments because I didn't know no better then. I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't what. Hold on, wait a minute. Who you think? I'm like, you know what? This is not stopping. So let me just. Okay.
Okay. So I gotta, now we got some important questions to talk about. I gotta ask. These are some questions that I have been wondering, and so I need you to clarify the
Okay.
things. Okay.
It's all every time you say I'm a heart beating palpitation.
Oh Lord, don't
Okay,
let
what
it. Don't let it take you there. Because
Okay.
again, this is a safe space. Um, when we came back, I guess it was last season, and we heard it from you that you had gotten a divorce.
Mhm.
How did the cameras miss all this going on? Okay, because I was like, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I was like, how she get away with that? How did that go down? Was it purposefully done? And what was the reason for it? If you can share.
Yeah, I can share.
Okay.
I would say so. The first part was how did the cameras miss it? Is that what it was? Well, they missed it because in the process of going through or being hit with divorce, I mean, I really mentally was kind of checked out because it
Mm,
was so much at one time. And then we got back together. And so it was like, do I talk about this? Like, this is a very sensitive space that we're in, and to share it with the world and not really be able to handle how the wildfire grows. Um, I really wanted to know where we ended up before I even said anything about it. And then, real talk, the focus wasn't on me. The
mm.
focus wasn't on me on the show. The focus was on, what Melody was going through. And I wanted to make sure that that was brought to, because that was something that she was sharing. And for me, I'm not a person that is, hey, let me talk about me. So I don't know. In that space, I just felt like until I really knew what it was, if we really were going through this thing, um, I didn't really think it was best to talk about it, especially when it was heightened emotions because things come out real wrong.
So you were, if I'm hearing this correctly, you were maybe also still trying to figure out your place on the show, and then also figure out your place in your marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because now my place on the show may or may not include this person that I came on the show with, so I really don't know where I'm at.
Understandable. Do you think that doing the show in any way hurt the marriage, or do you feel
No,
like okay, okay? Because I know some people may feel like that.
mm-mm,
Um,
not at
if
all.
you could pinpoint one thing about it that you can actually say that was a turning point for you that you might have noticed in your head, because we never got this perspective from you. What was it for you? We're not speaking about him, but for you that you sort of felt like, I don't know, I don't think this is going to be forever.
I think it really started. I had those. We have red flags all the time, and we ignore them. So people are like, "Oh, yeah, that's it." Of course, but I had the hope, and I was really looking at what the potential of it was, and that's why I'm allergic to the word potential now. Potential is this potentially doesn't work.
Right.
So, I would say in the hospital when I was giving birth to my son, I was like, this
Mm,
is not going to work if we continue this way. It's
mhm.
not going to work. And he took it as a threat to me, I guess, saying I wanted to leave. But it was
Gotcha.
like, no, we got to change the way that we move, the way that we communicate, the way that we're behaving, because we're bringing a life into this world.
Yeah.
And so I realized that when it didn't change, that I couldn't live like that. I just couldn't live like that. And then the other part to it is, when you marry someone, however close you are to your parents, you have to learn to leave and cleave. And that
Mm,
part did not happen.
gotcha. Gotcha. Did was there any opportunity for, like, counseling or anything
We
like
went to
that?
counseling. Listen,
Okay.
I paid for counseling, and we went to counseling in the midst of us reconciling. We went to counseling, then we went to counseling. Because I believe in counseling. I believe in therapy. I believe in mental work. So that was done on and off throughout us dating. I mean, being engaged and married.
And please forgive me for saying this because I know this is it's a personal story for you, but I do feel like I wish the cameras had caught some of that because any opportunity that you have to tell a story like that is so
It's really
pivotal. But I also understand not knowing where you're at with it.
so
So
initially. Let me clarify so people don't think, oh, she was just keeping all of that. But when we initially filed for divorce, or he initially filed for divorce, we weren't filming.
Gotcha.
And when we got back into filming, we were going through the reconciliation period off and on. We were trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
And by the time we got to a complete no, we weren't filming again. So the
Gotcha.
period that we didn't get a chance to, the period where they would have gotten a chance to film was a period where it was like, are we doing this or not?
Okay. Okay.
And then at that point, he chose to not be a part of filming.
That was going to be my next question. Okay, so now things make a lot more sense, and I don't think viewers understood how that timeline worked, especially me. And I'm like all up into the show. So, um, thank you for clarifying that.
No problem.
Um, now is we got to talk about you and Melody, and then kind of you and Martell as well. Is this? Do you regret not necessarily confiding in her about what you were going through? And I only ask that because I know it's hard when you're in a relationship. My personal belief is I don't talk about my relationship to nobody. So I kind of feel crazy asking you this question. But I often wonder sometimes too if there is support amongst married couples. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they can give you another perspective on an issue or something like that. Do you feel like there was a missed opportunity there, or do you just kind of feel the same, like how I said, like I don't talk about my personal my marriage with nobody?
So I am that person that even with my closest 20 plus, 15 plus year friends, they all are like, oh, they know that I have things that are going on and I tell them when I'm ready, right?
Gotcha.
Um, even my closest friend, my cousin who can write my book, she still gets annoyed with me. I'm like, hey, I'm not ready to talk about it. But with Melody, and let's please let this be clear, going through divorce, Melody could probably write that chapter of my marriage
Mm,
because she was there. We were going
gotcha.
through almost the same exact things on a day to day basis. We talked about things that we were going through on a day to day basis. Like, it wasn't much that Melody didn't know about my process of the divorce. The only thing that Miss Holt didn't know was the day that I signed my papers. That was the
Okay.
only thing that she did not know.
Okay.
And my own family didn't know that. My father didn't know that.
Okay. Okay. So I think honestly, even in this conversation, I'm kind of getting a better understanding of like the type of person you are. Now, some of it is resonating with me because I'm like that same kind of person. I don't really talk a lot about stuff that's going on with me. I will tell you this: my assistant was like kind of suggested that I go to therapy, and I was like, well, first of all,
First of all,
how you tell me, but people can sometimes sense that you're going through things, and and I'm just private, so I'm kind of getting that sense from you as well.
it's crazy because I'm a private person on reality TV, and that don't really work.
I was about to say, girl, now that's the oxymoron of it all right there.
That don't really work, but I'm in a comfortable space where I'm in a better place of sharing because I didn't want to share when I was in such a broken and vulnerable place because I just really didn't. I mean, honestly, I feel like I was a walking zombie for a long time. I was just putting one foot in front of the other, and God was moving me. So a lot of I mean, especially after having a baby, like you're foggy, like you're
Yeah.
really, your brain is foggy. And I know people are like, whatever, that haven't experienced it or had a child, but you really like are not yourself. Um, and now that I'm feeling like myself again, I don't mind sharing, especially in a space where it could be as positive as possible and my truth of my experiences, and it can help somebody. So no, I don't mind sharing when I get to that place of, I'm strong enough to be able to share it. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So, is there hope for you and Melody to come back together? And let me tell you why I ask. I liked the two of y'all. Y'all gave me big sis, little sis. I don't know who's the older sister. And it don't really matter, but that's the energy y'all gave. So I, as a viewer, root for that. I need this a couple of questions I gotta ask. Is there hope? And what was said in the hotel room? Please tell me what was said in the hotel room.
Listen, everybody want to know that, even me. So I would say this: the relationship that Melody and I developed and was real. It was
It
an
felt
genuine.
real.
It was real. It was a lot. We experienced a lot of trauma together. We did a lot of healing together. Um, the problem that I have with I don't know how to answer that question is because in friendship you go through opposition, right? How you move as a friend in opposition determines how you go forward after that. And how she's been moving to me is not that of a friend. And that's just my where I'm at right now. Before I would have been like Jesus Christ himself gonna have to come down here and fix this and be like, hey, this good. But this is where I'm at now.
So were you and Letitia, because I gotta make it plain for the people that's gonna watch this. Were you and Letitia, what were y'all saying about this woman in the room at the hotel? Because I felt like we needed a camera there.
Listen, Love and Marriage is people talk about scripted reality shows. This ain't one of them. Okay,
I
our
believe
lives
it.
still go on, go on. So real talk, and I know people like when you say real talk, probably don't trust you. But in real life, what happened was I was getting dressed because everybody was leaving that day except for the Scots. They stayed an additional couple of days because it was Marcel's birthday. So Tisha was like, "I'm coming to your room." So I'm literally running back and forth in the bathroom, folding clothes, putting stuff in my suitcase, and we were just talking about the reunion. Literally, we were recapping the reunion, and then parts that I didn't see. So like one of the things Tisha said was, "Oh, I really hated that part where they asked Martell the question and he wouldn't answer it." And when she explained to me what it was, I was like, "Oh no, that's terrible." So that we talked about, and then we talked about her not knowing that me and Melody had not spoken to each other. And so let me be very clear. People keep saying, "Oh, Destiny's needy. She needed to talk to Melody." And they text and da 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 da. A text message is not the same as talking. I don't care what century you were born in. Talking to your friend on the phone regularly, or even not even regularly, like maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, was something that we did. So for me to go from calling and making sure she's good and not getting a response until a week, and then saying again, "Hey, I texted you a week ago. What's up? You good? You alive? You disconnected from the world?" was my exact text message to say, "Hey, if you are, just let me know you're good." And um, then to get a text message back, let's hang out, and I was out of town. But after that, from the ending of filming to the stage, I had not spoken to her on the phone. So we
Mm.
only text. So that's different. So for me, I'm like, I don't know where we are. I don't know if we good or not because I hadn't talked to my girl. Like we text off and on. I may text, she may respond, whatever the case may be. So people with these, oh, she had receipts, that didn't even equate to what I was talking about. So getting back to what Tisha was like, I didn't even know y'all because Tisha and I talk. She and I didn't tell her, hey, I ain't talked to Melody. I don't know what's going on with her. I didn't have that conversation with her, so she was shocked by it on the stage. And so she was like, I didn't know y'all hadn't been talking to each other. And I was like, yeah, it is what it is. After so many times of reaching out, you just can't lose no sleep. That's what I said.
Mm. Okay.
And the
Okay.
other part to that was when she was telling me about the Martell situation, and I said this to Martell and they edited it out, or maybe it'll come out, I don't know. And I was like, well, I did say that, Martell is a little jealous because Melody's, continuing on without him, and he always wanted that to be the family.
Mm.
And that's when she knocked on the door.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So those
And
are
the
the two things that I
interaction
said.
and the interaction at the hotel, did it feel hostile to you or did it
Well, it
feel
was Melody. It was y'all too loud. Y'all coming in here with the what did she say? We can hear you outside the door. Oh, we can hear you in the hallway, whatever she said. And I'm like, okay, girl, what you want me to repeat it? Like this is our conversation. And I was like, whatever. And so she was coming to the room to give me her new number. Now this is crazy because she's like, oh, we've been communicating with each other, but I didn't even have your number. So when you brought your receipts, why didn't you tell people that you came to the hotel room to give me a number because I didn't have it? So this is my thing. If it was such a bad conversation or you felt slighted, why would you give me your number in that moment? She could have just knocked on the door and said what she said and walked on. She gave me her new number. And then my landscaper, it was like 5 minutes later after, oh, she walked away and, pulling a little bag. Like I said, these walls are real thin. And I'm like, whatever, girl. And so she left, and my landscaper texted me immediately after, like 5 minutes after that, and was like, "Hey, I had Mel's number, but I need to reach out to her. Can you have her call me?" So I texted. I said, "Random, Jimmy just called me to ask me for your number for I guess cutting grass, whatever he was doing." And she was like, "Oh, I just talked to him. I don't know why he don't have it." I said, "I don't know." And anyway, so she's like, "Okay, I'll call him." And then she texted back and said, "It's a lot of random things happening today." So I responded back and was like, "All love," or something I said, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm good." So I called, like, "What's up?" Because at this point, I'm getting ready to get in the car to leave.
Yeah.
And she didn't answer, and then she texted back, and she was like, "LOL" or something. And I said, "We were just recapping the reunion," and she said, "LOL" or something. We'll talk. And I called again, I think, and then she said, "We'll talk when we get back to Huntsville." And we went to brunch like a couple weeks later and sat down and talked about everything. She's like, "Oh, that's what I heard." And her specific words to me were, and I said, "I can't believe you thought I was talking about you. Like, it wasn't like that." And she said, "I didn't think you were talking shit about me," exact words. "It was who you were talking to."
Mm.
And in the moment, I'm just like, now that I've processed it, but in the moment, I'm like, "Girl, you know, it wasn't like, I didn't know you ain't, hi, I didn't know y'all were enemies. Like, I didn't know, I thought y'all were cool."
And she was still feeling some type of way about what Letitia said to her at the reunion.
Yes, and I didn't know that. I didn't know
Gotcha.
that.
Gotcha.
And I feel like for me, it's like you're saying, even at the reunion on the stage, I want them to play that back. She was like, "Have I ever tried to interfere with y'all becoming friends?" I actually have been a proponent for y'all to be friends. And have I ever interfered? I'm like, no. And I mean, I'm grown. Like, I'm gonna make my own decisions. But had my friend told me that this person was her enemy, I wouldn't have been as open to developing a relationship with Tisha. And that's just real talk. Like, nobody's gonna help me make me choose friends, but ultimately, if that's the person that I'm rocking with, and we're in a circle together, and she like, mm-mm. She's never done that, so I didn't know that it was at a place like that.
I ultimately feel like a conversation between the two of y'all, like an extended, like sit down conversation,
Try
because a
that
lot of this.
off and on camera, and it didn't work.
Oh, well, I was holding out hope.
Well, I'm gonna say this, not off camera, because when I reached out to her, when everything started going awry and people were saying whatever, whatever, I'm like, what is going on? Because I'm shocked at this point. People are like, she's playing stupid, but I'm like, I sat down and talked to my friend. We're in a good place. Listen, I went through a crazy thing with my ex husband. She came over to be supportive, and after that Thanksgiving, I got a text message, and then when we start filming 2 weeks later, when it's Christmas, 2 3 weeks later, I find out that I'm not a part of this party or whatever she's doing, from mutual friends who are calling me like, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "Huh?"
Mm.
So, it was all like shocking to me. So when we sat down in a cafe, I came in quiet because I really didn't know what she was gonna say. I had no idea what her issue was. And I had reached out to her via text, like, "Listen, what's up? Like, call me." And so the first conversation we had in between that time was sitting down in the cafe.
What was your thought about the Galentine's Day party that we're gonna see part two of? I guess two questions. One, did you go into this like I'm ready for battle, or did you kind of just go into it like not knowing what to expect? And then what was your uh impression of Stormy and you guys' sort of communication or altercation?
I don't know how to cross my eyes, but I was trying to. First part was, did I go into it ready for battle? No, I did not. I didn't want to be there. I told Kimmy my store that I didn't want to go and I wasn't gonna go. And that didn't make it. But she told me, she's like, "If I went to the little brown circle thing, you gonna have to come to my." So I didn't want to be there neither, but I sat out on the ground with y'all. So I'm like, oh. And so, and it was a stressful day for me. Like, I was dealing with stuff with ex-husband, and I really was already on like, just it was just a heavy day. And on top of me not really want to be there. And so I came, but I came with like, hey, I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna eat me some chicken. I'm gonna have me a few drinks. I know we're gonna have to, converse about some stuff, but it is what it is. When I saw Tisha sneakers, I was like, oh, what today? And that is, I was like, listen, I'm like, we need a code word. And you probably would hear if you really paid attention because I was like, if you see me going left, please get me because I might lose it. Our code word was pineapples. So if you pay attention to the scene, you'll see Tisha in my face and I watched it. Somebody sent me the clip and it was like, pineapples, pineapples.
I wish I would have known that. Let me tell you
Tisha was like,
something.
I said pineapples to you 30 times.
That scene with you and Stormy, I
Listen,
want
and
you
the
to
crazy part about
know.
it is I liked Stormy prior to that. And not that I dislike her, but I dislike her approach to me.
Gotcha.
And it was just like, listen, it's already a heightened situation. Everybody's on edge. And you keep asking me the same question over and over and over again. And I'm like, listen, sis, ask her. I'm not the one with the issue. So ask her what her issue is with me.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you that that scene is going to go down in history as one of the funniest scenes of all time. Listen, I had to remix it on my page with the two of y'all going at it and just saying the same things to each other. It was
I
hilarious.
don't remember that,
Did
by the
you
way.
realize the hilarity of it as it was
I don't
happening?
even remember that happening because I was gone. If you look at my eyes, I was a whole nother person.
How are you guys today? What? Okay, I got two other things that we
We're
need.
good. I mean, I haven't
Oh,
spoken to her, so I mean,
okay.
it is what it is.
So the door is open ish.
I, I'm not. I don't like to carry stuff. So I
Okay.
mean, if it could be in a respectful way, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Um, two other things that I want to talk about real quick, and then I'm gonna let you get back to the business of Destiny. Um,
Yeah, because I do have this relaunch tomorrow, and I am. I was in the store all night. That's why I'm up here. Do you see bags under my eyes? And
no,
then come home to be mommy. So yeah, but yeah, I gotta get
I
there. But
know
it's
it's a
okay.
lot. It's a lot. Um, Number one, there was a discrepancy that fans had noticed about either the public assistance or PPP loans. Can you cover that?
Okay, so let me educate people about business and personal. A
Okay.
PPP loan is for your business,
Hmm.
which I did receive, and I never denied receiving when Maurice, I get the Mars mixed up. When Maurice asked me, "Are you talking about PPP?" I'm like, "No, I'm talking about assistance," because I was trying to clarify. I wasn't saying no to the PPP loan. I was saying
Gotcha.
no to what he was asking me. Is this what you're talking about? So when I talk about assistance, yes, absolutely. Because, and I say this, and I'll say it again. I went through divorce. Divorce is very expensive, as well as a custody battle on top of that with
Mm,
an infant. It's very expensive. I did everything I could and made sure that my son stayed primarily with me.
gotcha.
And that's not cheap. And on top of that, running a business, paying for all of my additional bills in and out of COVID. So when my divorce was finalized, I didn't get child support because he agreed to pay for the home for a year while I was getting myself back in order. So I was scared. Like I didn't know. I got a brand new baby. I've never been in this position where I've depleted most of my savings and everything else that I had. So real talk, like I went and got help because I was afraid. I didn't know what was coming down the pipeline. Being an entrepreneur, you don't know when those checks coming in. You don't know when the orders are gonna be placed. You don't know
I
how much you're gonna sell in your store. Like you just don't know that. And in between that, I'm fighting with my landlord because he won't fix the doggone AC and heat in the building. So I'm closed for 4 months because we have no AC inside of Madani.
wow.
And yeah, so I'm and then I'm dealing with a lot, like a whole lot. So yeah, I definitely went for assistance.
I just want to tell you, I thought that that was probably one of the most powerful moments for you, and for a person on a reality show to be that open. I have to commend you because we have all had our points in life of struggle. And it is when you share that testimony that it really resonates with somebody else. So I just want to say thank you for that, because you didn't have to mention that.
I didn't want to.
But no, it
Initially, I did not want to
I
because I
know
didn't
there's
want to be a
power.
charity case for anybody. I didn't want nobody to be like, "Oh, well, she da da da." I just
No, there is power in your story. And that's the great thing about reality TV that people don't often acknowledge, is that those types of stories will resonate with people. And I'm so glad that you did it.
thank you.
I want to say that. You did mention the relaunch of Madani. So that is moving forward.
As we speak.
Great. That's good. That's good. That's good news. And then my last question for you is this.
I don't want it to be the last. I'm having fun. You said I was going. This is gonna be fun though. Go ahead.
I, I just want to know, like, now that you are, feeling a bit freer, okay, and you single, are we gonna see Destiny dating on the show? And if so, what kind of man is Destiny looking for? Because we got all types of people that's be watching.
A
Okay,
real one.
huh?
A real one.
Oh, define a real one, and then again, you got to answer the question: will we see it?
I'm open to that.
Okay,
I'm open to that. Absolutely.
okay, and then the definition
And
of a real
define
man.
single.
Oh, you define single for us. You tell us what it means.
I mean, just definitive, like not married. Okay, then I'll be
You
single.
you 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 got some things going on, maybe. Okay. Well, let me tell you something. If it hits the 6-month mark, you're gonna have to show it on the show. Oh, I mean, I feel like that should be the rule.
Okay. All
Because
right.
I feel like, 6 months is well enough to say, yeah, I'll let you be seen with me for posterity on reality TV. If you done made it past 6 months. But if we only in 2 weeks or a month, no, you don't get to be part of my journey.
Okay.
I think
All
that's
right.
fair.
I think it's fair too.
You know, just a just
7.
a new
Seven is
rule
my
I made
favorite. So
up.
can we do 7?
Okay, we can do 7.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We'll give you 7, but after 7, we're gonna start asking you questions again.
Okay. I'll be
Okay.
ready for them.
Okay. So when you come back, we're gonna have a different set of questions for you.
Okay. All right. I'll be ready for them. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready.
Destiny, I want to say thank you so much for taking out the time today. I know you had a lot going on today. Can you tell
Thank you for being
everybody?
patient too. Woo,
Oh
woo.
no, it's no problem. I told you. Listen, I was sitting here just getting things ready after Good Day DC, so it was perfect. Um, can you tell everybody every place that they can find you, where to support you, and how they can support you, real quick before
Mhm.
we go?
So you can find anything Madani at MadaniBeauty.com and at Madani Beauty on IG, Madani Beauty Supply and Salon Suites on Facebook, and anything Destiny, you can find it at thedestinypayton.com, which is THE. Sorry, The Destiny Payton at IG. And I think I'm Destiny Payton on Twitter, but I'm never on Twitter. I'm a little terrified of Twitter a little bit.
I
Um,
am too.
and on TikTok, I am Manifest Destiny. I'm gonna start trying to do some TikTok videos. Lord Jesus, all this social media stuff.
It's a lot. It's a
It is
lot.
a job. Lord have mercy.
It is
And
a
I
lot.
really be like in my whole little bubble, like being a mom and like really working. And so to take time out, I'm gonna do better though because I know that people want it. So
They
it's
do.
unfair for me to be in this position and not offer that. It's kind of selfish. So I'm working on it. So
Okay.
yeah, but I'm thinking about changing my IG name, but as of now, it is the Destiny Payton on IG.
Okay. I will place the links for those down in the description down below so you guys can get all of her links if you don't already have them. And Destiny, again, I just want to say thank you. We can't wait to see you continue to rise, and we can't wait to watch your story unfold and holding out hope for some of these friendships.
Listen, God
Still
is
holding out.
good. God can change anything. Apart the Red Sea, He can do anything. So again. You're gonna have to come on down here and fix it.
Fix it, Jesus. Okay.
Fix it, Jesus.
All right, y'all. We will catch you guys in the next video. Destiny, don't go nowhere. Real quick, I just want to talk to you real quick after this. But Skye Squad, we in the building, and I will catch you guys in the next video.